So if you've done at least 3 properties for each part of this exercise, you're going to have a very good feel for what the rental market is like in that particular neighborhood right now. What those potential rental income properties are listed at, what they've been selling for, and what kind of rents they are likely to be able to ask for. Okay, so now that you have that, you should pick one property to analyze. In my case, when I looked at the 3 bedroom, 2 bath comps, most of them look pretty crappy. There's one that was okay, but this one's listed at 169,000, and I have one in the same neighborhood with an extra bedroom that's slightly larger listed for less that looks better. So I'm going to run an analysis on that property instead. Okay? So this one, 165,000 is the asking price. And now when we looked at recent sales comps, we noticed that there's really no discount or premium, right? So let's assume that we would have to pay listing price for it. So this is where we go to the BOE model, purchase price, putting the purchase price, okay? And I'm gonna leave, let's say 2,500 for the closing costs. Okay, now we looked at the rental rates, right? So here, the 3 bedroom, 2 bath properties are asking for about somewhere between 1,000 to 1,200, maybe for a 4 bedroom. And being conservative to make sure you can compete really well against these, then you can reasonably expect something around maybe 1,150 to 1,200. Okay, so let's say 1,200, and we're going to assume that the market is fairly healthy. If there's a vacancy, you can lease it up within 4 weeks, okay? And you can leave these other assumptions in here in terms of the property taxes, but if you know the tax rate in your market, put that in. So you use the percentage rate times the purchase price. If you're going to provide some sort of a repair and maintenance, these are older homes. I'm going to set aside $100 for repairs and $450 a year for insurance. And then let's assume that you're going to get some loan. I'm going to put 35 down and then borrow the rest. Okay, so for the purchase price plus closing costs here, 35 down, borrow the rest at 5% interest, and it is going to be long term. Let's do 25 years. Okay, but I'm going to also assume that we're going to do some renovation at the purchase to really kind of spruce it up a little bit. Let me see or you know what? Curb appeal. Yeah, spend a little bit on curb appeal. The inside looks phenomenal. So the curb appeal, maybe just 2,500. Okay, on landscaping and other things. Not going to spend anything when I sell it. I'm going to assume the rental growth rate is going to grow at about 3% a year. So if it's $100 a month right now, next year will be $103. That's basically what this is assuming. Okay, and it automatically flows in here. And then I'm going to assume in 7 years that I will sell this at a profit of $220,000. And the cost of sale will be 6% for commissions. All right, let's see what that looks like. So with those assumptions that I put in, I see that I can get an IRR, or an internal rate of return, of 8.7%. Before, if I did it all cash. What unlevered means if I invested all cash, what it would look like. And levered means if I got the loan and only put 35% down, what would my return on the 35% be? Okay, so in this case, the loan is helping, so the levered returns, or the leverage returns, are higher. Now, for a rental income property, these are the kinds of measures that are used to evaluate investment opportunities. And you're going to learn exactly what internal rate of return means, what a yield is, and what a cash multiple is. But generally, for rental income properties, you want to have an IRR on an unleveraged basis of 8% plus. That's a pretty good return on your rental income property. And a yield, or basically your return in terms of rent for what you invested on a annual basis, what you're getting. So you're getting 6.2% back. And over the 7 years here, I'm basically getting 1.6 back on my investment. So I'm not doubling my money, but I'm getting almost $2, a little bit less. But if I got a good loan here at these rates, then my investment, I will more than double my investment. So that looks like a pretty good investment based on these assumptions. Now, what we did with the comps allows us to get a really good feel for what the purchase price and the rents are going to be. Okay. And here with financing, you can easily find out what the prevailing interest rates are. I think it's closer to 4% right now. So the returns will be even better. And deciding on what you need to do to fix. So if I was evaluating a different property, let's say I was evaluating a property that had a lot of work to be done, right? 5. I may, in my model, I may put 25 grand because once I go in there, I realize I need to put in a new kitchen and a new bathroom. Okay. So these renovations will really depend on what you're assuming for that particular investment. And again, in 7 years, your sales price assumption is also crucial. So if I assume it doesn't go up very much and I sell it at 180,000 in 7 years, my returns are going to be a lot lower. You can see that there. Okay, so now some of this is going to be new to you, obviously, if you've never seen this stuff before, but I wanted to show you that within a matter of minutes, you're able to do some market research. You're able to get a lot of information about a rental market, and you're able to become pretty confident about what kind of prices you're going to pay, what kind of rents you're likely to be able to get, and be able to make reasonable assumptions so that you can sort of get an idea of what kind of investment returns you're going to get from that neighborhood if you were to invest in a rental income property. And now you can repeat this process for different markets that you're interested in. And so you can compare which markets are actually more appealing in terms of doing rental incomes with. So for those of you who are doing this exercise, I would love for you to share in the discussions. Tell me which market you were looking at and what kind of prices, okay? What kind of prices for homes? Like if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or whatever you're looking at, what are the prices? What kind of IRR yields and cash multiples you're seeing based on the exercise that you've just done? All right. So this is a quick exercise for you to get a quick feel for how to analyze and do some research about a rental income market. Now, in the rest of the course, we're going to learn about all of these in greater detail. Now, for those of you who are curious about how this investment model, all of this here is built, because this gives you the full cash flows of the rental income property, check out the appendix section. The appendix section, I have 2 lectures where I basically walk you through how to build this back of the envelope analysis model from scratch. And you can follow along, and if you follow along and understand it well, you can maybe adjust it to suit your own needs.